Welcome to my restoration presentation. The topic I chose to go over were some of the major Christian creeds, but more specifically, some of the discrepancies that you can find in them and how they differ from our doctrine. So the first scholarly source that I have is by Andrew Eubank, and it says here, the Arians asserted the unique Godhead of the Father and subjection of the Father, prescribing both homeostasis and homoousios. The more old-fashioned bishops and semi-Arians swayed over to the Nicene doctrine. This is really interesting to see one of the points that was heavily debated in the Nicene Council, and that being that of the doctrine of the Godhead versus the Trinity. And it says here that some of the old-fashioned bishops, the Arians, they did subscribe to that doctrine of the Godhead and not to that of the Trinity. However, through the debates and the counselings that did take place, they were swayed over to the new doctrine of the Nicene doctrine, which is where the original one was lost. The second source by Wayne Grudem, and this is about the Apostles' Creed, and where it says that Jesus descended into hell between the crucifixion and the resurrection. It says, it is surprising to find that the phrase he descended into hell was not found in any of the early versions of the creed, in the versions used in Rome, in the rest of Italy, and in Africa, until it appeared in one of two versions from Rufinus in AD 390. Then it is not included again in any version of the creed until 650. Moreover, Rufinus, the only person who includes it before 650, did not think that it meant that Christ descended into hell, but understood the phrase simply to mean that he was buried. This is very interesting because mainstream Christianity does hold that he was descended into hell, and it is based off of this document. However, it was never in the document, and it is fascinating to see that discrepancy is still held throughout mainstream Christianity. This talk by Elder LeGrand Richard, titled Strange Christian Creeds, he goes and talks about the way that Satan likes to deceive the children of God, and thus he goeth seeking to destroy the souls of men. And how does he try to destroy people? By taking a little truth and mixing it with a lot of error to deceive the hearts of the people. And I think this is evident in the formulation of the creeds that still have a tight grip on mainstream Christianity, is that there is a lot of error that was sprinkled into also a lot of truth. And that's why mainstream Christianity is in error and differs from the restored doctrine that we have today. Elder Gary G. Coleman had the talk, Mom, Are We Christians? He's a convert who was a Christian, a normal Christian until he converted over to the Church of Jesus Christ. And it says, the knowledge of God and his physical separateness from his Son and the Holy Ghost was lost after the death of Christ and his apostles. Confusion and false doctrines about the Godhead were fashioned out of the Nicene Creed and Constantinople councils, where men declared that instead of three separate beings, the Godhead was three persons in one God, or the Trinity. Just as Christian Protestant reformers struggled with these creeds of men, I did as well, and the teachings about the Trinity that I learned from my youth were incomprehensible to me. And this is a wonderful example of what it's like to be exposed to the truth after being confused for so long. The Doctrine and Covenants 130, verse 22 says, the Father has a body of flesh and bones as tangible as man's, the Son also, but the Holy Ghost is not a body of flesh and bones, but is a personage of spirit. Were it not so, the Holy Ghost could not dwell in us. This is interesting to me because it clearly contradicts the key doctrine of the nature of God that is found in the Nicene Creed and in the Apostles' Creed. Doctrine and Covenants 138, 27, and 30 says, but his ministry among those who are dead was limited to the brief time intervening between the crucifixion and his resurrection. But behold, from among the righteous, he organized his forces and appointed messengers, clothed with power and authority, and commissioned them to go forth and carry the light of the gospel to them that were in darkness, even to all the spirits of men, and thus was the gospel preached to the dead. This is a clarification on what actually took place between the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. He did not descend to hell, and he did not interact with the dark spirits, however, but he did organize missionary forces in the spirit world. Joseph Smith Papers, here it says that this is declaration that Joseph Smith made to the President of the United States. And it says, though your minds are darkened and your eyes dim of sight by the traditions, superstitions, and follies of the age, imposed upon by the papal see and hierarchy of Rome, the patriarch, the council, or the ecclesiastical council, Constantinople, and the priesthood of the Protestant sects, the God of heaven addresses you as intelligent beings and directs you to come out from among them, that you may be an elite kingdom, bright and shining lights in the Father's house. In order to be an elite kingdom and a bright and shining light, as Joseph Smith says here, we need to do away with the papal see and also the ecclesiastical council of Constantinople, which is in reference to the Nicene Creed. The first concept that I'd like to highlight is that the Nicene Creed is a crucial point in the mainstream Christianity, and there were heavily debated points of doctrine discussed by popular vote and by use of argument that intermingled with philosophies of man with the original truths. One of the biggest truths was lost and confused, that being the nature of Jesus Christ, his relation to his Father, and his relation to his Father. This is the Trinity that is commonly held by mainstream Christianity. It is clear that that was a lost doctrine, however, it is restored now. And then the second point is that the Apostles' Creed was written by not the apostles and has many non-scriptural elements to it. And one of those examples was the part that talks about Jesus Christ descending into hell, which is simply inaccurate. The application I'd like to emphasize is I want to better, for me personally, study the restored truths that we have access to today, because it is evident to me that the things we now understand what we now understand clearly were at one point in time understood clearly by ancient Christians as well. And I do feel truly blessed to have these restored truths in my life today. And this is my presentation about the major Christian creeds, and I thank you for your time.